I think reasonable people can disagree about the wisdom or the U.S. track record of intervention in Central and South America, but the number one question we've actually gotten has focused around oil prices. And the question, put very simply, is this are these actions in Venezuela expected to lower oil prices, lower gas prices? And that's what we're going to talk about today. For a little bit of background, Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the entire world. About 17% of the proven world supply is in Venezuela, and that is more than even Saudi Arabia. But Venezuela only supplies about 1% of the world's total oil production. So there's an enormous gap there. And that difference is really where a lot of people are focusing on and asking that question, what happens to oil prices? Now, in the US, when we talk about oil, we talk about light sweet crude. That is the most commonly produced and refined type of oil in the United States. But Venezuela does not have light sweet crude. What they have is called instead heavy sour crude. And that in itself is not a problem. Our US Gulf Coast refineries can process that heavy sour crude. The problem is, though, we have to first get that oil to the refinery. You got to get it out of the ground, you've got to get it on a pipeline or a ship and make it to the refinery before it can be useful. And that's the real issue. For decades, Venezuela has mismanaged their infrastructure, and there is simply not the capacity to extract or move large quantities of oil at this point in time. Now, that capacity can be created, but it's going to require massive infrastructure investment. And the current thought process is that US oil companies would supply that infrastructure investment. And it's a good idea, but in order for that to happen, there has to be political stability. Exxon and Chevron are not going to come in and spend billions of dollars a month in a country if they're not confident they're going to be able to recoup that investment, and that comes from political stability. So the short answer here is over the short term, do not expect there to be any material change in oil prices because of what's happening in Venezuela. If there is any change, it'll likely occur over the intermediate or long term, think years, not weeks or months. So I hope you found that interesting. If you do have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Bye now.